Creating Accessible Word Document, Chapter 8, Tables. This training video is produced by the Accessibility and Policy Unit of the California Department of Social Services. The basis for this criterion is WCAG 1.3.1, Info and Relationships. Information, structure, and relationships conveyed through presentation can be programmatically determined or are available in text. And WCAG 1.3.2, Meaningful Sequence. When the sequence in which the content is presented affects its meaning, a correct reading sequence can be programmatically determined. In simple terms, this means content which visually appears as a table must be assigned as a table using the Table feature of Microsoft Word. Table headers must be assigned, and the layout of the table must properly convey the intended purpose. The quick checklist for Word accessibility mentions 3 items relating to tables. All data tables have a simple construction, text wrapping style is set to none, and allow row to break across pages is unchecked. And finally, ensure repeat as header row at the top of each page is checked for the header row of the table. All data tables have a simple construction. A simple table is defined as consisting of one row and/or one column for the header, as well as having no merged cells. In Microsoft Word, complex tables, tables with merged cells and/or multiple header rows or columns cannot be made accessibly. Let's look at a few tables and decide if they are complex tables or simple tables. If needed, a Word version of the following tables is available. Here is our first table. Is this a complex or simple table? If you answered simple table, you are correct. There is only one row for the header and one column for the header, as well as no merged or split cells. Here's the next table. Is this a complex table or a simple table? This one is a little trickier. This is a complex table, as there are 2 columns that are headers. County name is the first column, and county name is also the third column. To make this a simple table, recreate the table into 2 columns. The first column, county name, and the second column, review month. Is this a complex table or a simple table? This is a complex table because in this resource guide is merged across 2 columns. To make this a simple table, there are a few options. The option chosen here is to pull in this resource guide out of the table and add a new header row, the first column being section and the second column being page. Is this a complex or simple table? You answered complex table, you are correct. Program budgets is merged across all 3 columns, and additionally, the highlighting is a clue that all grants, administration services, child care, and mental health and substance abuse are all in one cell. If you remember from the previous chapter, logical reading order, assistive technologies will read a Word document in the same order it is highlighted. Therefore, in this table, an assistive technology would read all of the programs, then all of the dollar amounts, and finally all of the percentages, and not correlate them to each other. To fix this table, we want to recreate it with each item in its own cell and a header with no merged cells. So our first column header would be program, our second column header would be budget in millions, and our third column header would be budget in percentages. Here is our next example, simple or complex table. If you chose complex table, you are correct. Even though there are no merged cells, there are multiple header rows. The first being OSI spending authority budget item, and the second header row being CDSS local assistance budget item. To recreate this table, it is easiest to make two simple tables. One table for OSI Spending Authority budget item and another table for the CDSS local assistance budget item. Simple or complex? This is a complex table because we have a merged cell in the left column headers. One PTA is merged across two rows. And two compliance review and remediation is also merged across two rows. We also have this black line merged across all cells with no data present. To fix this table, we can unmerge the cells and bring the text into each cell. So we have one PTA in both cells, two compliance review and remediation in both cells. We also removed the black line merged across all cells, as blank headers are not recommended and can cause confusion for users of assistive technology. Simple or complex? This is a simple table. There are no merged cells and only one row for the header and one column for the header. And finally, simple or complex? This is a complex table. There are two columns for the header. These are both header columns. To recreate this table, we can remove OSI items as its own column, pull the text out, and have just one column for the header. Screen readers speak one cell at a time and reference the associated header cells, so the reader doesn't lose context. When a table has merged cells or multiple headers, the screen reader is unable to properly correlate the multiple header rows and merged cells to the corresponding data cell. Let's navigate a complex table and a simple table using NVDA Screen Reader. To turn on NVDA, use the keystroke Control-Alt-N. To navigate between tables in a Word document, you must first enter Browse mode, which is the keystroke Insert Spacebar. To navigate from table to table, use the keystroke T, and to navigate inside the table, use Control, Alt, and your arrow keys.
5 rows and 7 columns. Row 1 through 2, column 1, bold favorite food. Row 3, spaghetti. 4th grade, column 2, no bold, 24. 4th grade, column 3, 33.
You can hear it is announcing 4th grade, but it is not announcing girls or boys as a header. We are missing pertinent information using a screen reader in this complex table. If we navigate to our next table.
Table with 4 rows and 7 columns. Row 1, column 1, bold favorite food.
And use Control, Alt, and our arrow keys to navigate.
Row 2, spaghetti. 4th grade boys, column 2, no bold, 24. 4th grade girls, column 3, 33. Turkey, row 3, 6.
You can hear the screen reader announce the data as well as the headers associated with that cell. To exit NVDA, use the keystroke Insert Q.
Exit NVDA dialog.
And then press Enter or select OK. To remediate a complex table in Microsoft Word, there are two options. The first option is to rework the multiple header rows or columns and make one header row or column. In this example, we have two header rows. 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade are the first header row, and then boys and girls are the second header row. To rework this into one header, we brought the grades down into the next cell. So our cells are 4th grade boys, 4th grade girls, 5th grade boys, 5th grade girls, 6th grade boys, and 6th grade girls. Another option is to make multiple simple tables out of the complex table. In this case, we made a table for 4th grade, a table for 5th grade, and a table for 6th grade. The 4th grade table is split into boys and girls, 5th grade boys and girls, and then 6th grade boys and girls, with 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade being pulled out of the table. altogether. The second table item on the quick checklist has two components. The first states text wrapping style is set to none. This is similar to setting images to inline with text, and it protects the reading order of the document. The second component is uncheck allow row to break across pages. Both items are accomplished by selecting the entire table, right-clicking, and navigating to Table Properties. On the Table tab, text wrapping should be set to None. On the Row tab, Allow Row to Break Across Pages should be unchecked. Then select OK. The third and final table item on the quick checklist is Ensure Repeat as Header Row at the top of each page is checked for the header row of the table. To meet accessibility standards, all data tables must have a header row assigned. To do this, highlight the top row of the table, right-click and choose Table Properties. On the Row tab, ensure Repeat as Header Row at the top of each page is checked. This will ensure the top row of the table is assigned as the header row. If the table is only on one page, nothing will change visually. If the table spreads across multiple pages, the top header row will visually repeat on each page and allows all users easy access to the table header. Steps 2 and 3 both involve the table properties, but must be done separately, as step 2 requires the entire table to be highlighted, and step 3 requires only the header row to be highlighted. Note, these requirements are for data tables. Tables used purely to format information do not need to abide by the above standards. However, the WCAG strongly discourages the use of tables for formatting. A formatting table must be linearized when converted to PDF. In Word, a formatting table causes a lot of excess chatter with screen readers. When possible, avoid the use of tables for formatting. For more information about this topic or any of the topics in our series, contact the Accessibility and Policy Unit at accessibilitypolicyunit@dss.ca.gov.